YouTube. We are back again, and this time we're talking about the thing that I think everybody waits for. I know this is my most exciting part because we're talking about your savings and your investing. Two separate things. Both of them are dealing with your finances, but they are two separate things. The first one I'm going to talk about is the one you need to be focused on first. Before you do this, your savings you need to focus on first. And this is why. Because without your savings, you cannot start your path to your financial freedom. Your savings is what gives you the stability that in times of trouble or in times of need, you won't have to go into your investments and take those which will cause you either a penalty or some type of tax loss. You don't have to deal with that because you have this savings. Now I'm going to start out with the first savings you need to be thinking about in your mind, and that is your emergency fund. Your emergency fund your emergency fund is that fund that you need to save 3 to 6 months of living expenses. Yeah, you heard me right. 3 to 6 months of living expenses. What that is going to do for you is that is going to give you a stress-free sense of stability that is a foundation of your way to financial freedom. And here's why. If you lose your job and you have the 3 to 6 months of an emergency fund, that means you have 3 to 6 months to find another job. And if you file for unemployment, that will stream that out even longer. Now, what do I mean by emergency fund? Emergency fund is the money that you put away to provide you with income for your basic needs on month to month. Those basic needs are primarily your mortgage or your rent, your car, your electric bill, your utility bill, and your food. That's it. Because you got to understand, if you've lost your job, you need to streamline everything else you're doing. Cut out movies, dinners, all that stuff, and only concentrate on the bare necessities until you get another job to replace the income that you had lost. So that's what that 3 to 6 months emergency fund is. So here's what you do. You look at what your average cost is for all of these things, you add that up. You put that total in. You multiply that by 3 for being as a start. If you want to feel safer about your situation, multiply that by 6. That is the amount of money that you need in your emergency fund. Now, where do you keep this money in your emergency fund? You don't go put it in a mutual fund and you don't go put it in the stock market. You go right down to a credit union. I prefer credit unions. Or you go down to a bank and you put it in a savings account. Because you're not trying to make a lot of money on interest on this. Inside of a savings account right now, you'll probably get a 0.2% interest. But you don't care about that. You care about having less risk in your savings account than you would in an investing account. Because this is money you need to get, and when you need to have it, you need to have it right then and there without any type of implications on your stock portfolio. That being said, you want to put this in a savings account, and you can start off with most savings account with as little as $25 a month. You don't have to put all this and create this all at one time. Over time, while you're paying your bills, managing your debt, managing your budget, set aside a certain amount to go to this emergency fund. Once that emergency fund is done in your savings, then guess what? Now you can breathe a sigh of relief. That gives you the ability now to do other things. Now, another part of your savings, now that we've got the emergency fund out, another part of your savings is saving for those things that a lot of times we find ourselves set up in situations to where we are paying for these things out of our monthly income, and now that's causing us pain and distress for the next month. And that is things like gifts, birthday presents, um, going on trips, having special occasions, things like that. Here's what I do. If I plan on going on a trip, let's say I'm going to be going on a trip to the Bahamas. I'm going to plan that trip a year in advance. And I'm going to put away money per month for that trip so that when the year comes up and that year is over and it's time for my trip, that money is coming out of a special account that I've had for my gifts or for my trips. Now, where's that money going to go into? Now, for me, I would say put it inside of a CD or a money market. You can get better rates with a CD because a CD is going to have them to hold that for a certain account for a certain amount of time. Now, here's why I say trips, gifts, and special occasions in CDs and not in a savings account, and don't put your emergency fund in a CD. CDs require you to hold that money in for a certain amount of time. 6 months, a year, 2 years, certain amounts of time. You cannot take your money out before that time in order for you to get the max amount on that interest rate return that's going to give you. CDs right now pay 4%. Some of them might pay 4.6%, but there's way better than that 0.2% you're going to get on interest rates from a savings account. Now, when you put it in a CD, you put that money in there. What you've done is you've taken a whole, let's say a trip is going to cost you $1,500. You put that money inside of the CD, hold that in there for a year. After a year, you'll have more than $1,500. You can take all of that money out with the interest rate and use it. Otherwise, put the money inside of a money market. The money market also allows you to put money in at a higher interest rate than a savings account. But normally you're doing that at a brokerage account, and it takes you at least up to 3 days to get your money back. Do that for trips, gifts, special occasions, and you can put money in per month at a higher interest rate than you would your savings account. But you're still doing that at a rate that's not going to break you all at one time. So understand the difference. You have an emergency fund here that's 3 to 6 months. You also have another savings account for your gifts, your trips, and your special occasions so that you don't have to worry about pulling money out of your investments for that prematurely. Now, understand this. This is one part of your financial stability plan and your financial budgeting and your financial goals. This 3 to 6 months emergency fund, this you do first. This part, your gifts, trips, special occasions, can be done in conjunction with your investing. Because you're not trying, this is never going to end, you see. You're always going to have gifts, you're always going to have trips, you're always going to have special occasions. Your 3 to 6 months emergency fund is going to stay stable until you need to use it. And when you use it, let's say you don't use it all, let's say you use $300 out of it. Now you got to go back, put that $300 back, and now you can go back your merry way without hurting yourself to have to pull all your money into whatever that occasion was that caused you to use that emergency fund. Now, if you guys understand where I'm coming with the savings, we got all that down. And if you don't understand it all, put a question down in the comments. I'll be happy to answer your questions on that. That being said, let me say this. I am not a financial advisor. This is what I do for myself. And this is me, just a normal person that came from being a poor person to being financially independent, showing you how I deal with myself, with my savings, my investing, and my portfolio. So, this is the savings part. Let's get over to the investing. Now, the investing is what is going to be responsible for your financial future. And here's what I mean by that. When you're putting money here, you're not putting money to get out in 1 year, 2 years, 5 years. You're putting this money to take out when you are ready to retire or when you are 59 and a half years old. And here's why. Each one of these products will penalize you if you take the money out before you're 59 and a half, unless it is for special occasions like a down payment on a home, or sometimes during times of recession or during COVID, the Senate passed a one-time bill to allow you to take the money out. I would say even during that time, do not take this money out because you're depleting your investments that you're making for lifetime investments. Now, I'm pretty sure everyone knows what a 401k is. If you don't know what a 401k is, this is the thing that a company offers you where you work that allows you to put money away inside of the company's um, set up group of mutual funds and stocks that the company will offer for you to go through their company. That doesn't mean that you're investing in that company. That's a totally different thing. That's company options. This is the company providing you a place within the company to save money and put it into the stock market via mutual funds or things like that. Now, I want to talk to you guys about a 401k. People know about the 401k. I don't know how many people I have spoken to who refuse to put money in the 401k. I'm telling you guys, if you don't invest in a 401k, you are doing yourself and your family a disservice. Here's a caveat to that even more so. If you have a company match and you are not at least doing the company match, you are leaving free money on the table. Yeah, I'm telling you, you're leaving free money on the table. Let me tell you how this works. A 401k plan with a company match will tell you this. A company will match a certain percentage of your salary. They'll do a 100% match, 50% match, something of that accord to a certain amount of your salary. I had a company match like that when I worked in the private sector. Now, let me explain to you what that means. Let's say if you make $50,000 a year, right? At $50,000 a year, the company says, we'll match 5% of your salary at 100%. Now, what is 5% of your salary? 5% of $50,000 is $2,500. Now, you're going to think I'm lying, but just go down to your HR department and ask them. They'll tell you this. If you have $2,500 taken out of your paycheck, and you do that monthly, so it comes up to about a little over $200 a month, taken out for a 401k, guess what the company will do? The company will also give you $2,500. So if you have put in $2,500 for the year, the company is going to match $2,500. So guess what? Without doing anything, you have just had 100% return on your money that is being put inside of your 401k plan. Yes, people, you are giving away $2,500 if your company has a company match at 100% with 5% of your income. If it's 50%, then you're going to be at $2,500. And you're going to be losing $1,250. So what I'm saying is this. If you can't bring yourself to invest fully in your 401k plan, at least get the money that the company is going to give you for free. And this is all pre-tax. Now with the 401k plan, what I mean by pre-tax is when you turn 59 and a half and you take this money out, you're going to have to pay taxes on it. So you're going to have to be careful about how much you take out per year of your 401k, or you could find yourself in a higher tax bracket. That's why the next thing that I'm going to talk to you guys about is what we call the Roth IRA. Now the Roth is a little bit different. It works the same way as the 401k, but the Roth 401k, guess what it does? It puts post money, post tax money. So that means when you get the money from your check after taxes are paid on it, you put this into there and the company will match your Roth 401k dollar for dollar up to 5% of your income at 100%. Now, here's what happens with the Roth IRA. When you turn 59 and a half, guess what? You take that money out tax free. Yes, you heard me. You don't pay any money on that taxes. And I know some of you guys, if y'all are watching this and you're in your 20s or you're in your 30s, you're thinking, man, I can't wait that long. Trust me. Those years are going to fly by quicker than you realize. And you're now sitting on a nest egg of money, be it 200,000, 300,000. You're going to be sitting on that money, and you can take that money out anytime you want after 59 and a half, and it will not bump up your tax bracket at all. Now, let's say if you don't have a job where your company is providing a 401k or a Roth 401k, you can do something on your own called an IRA, in which you set up your own IRA and you get to deduct that off on your taxes because an IRA is pre-tax money. Now you say, well, how can I set that up on my own? You go online to a brokerage firm. And the three guys I know is Charles Schwab, Fidelity, T. Rowe Price. Just Google them, click on them, and I guarantee you when you click on them, you will see it says open an account. But I'll do you one better. Look on there where you can contact the company, customer support, and let them talk you through how to open up an IRA, because they're going to be way more thorough than I can be with you right now talking. So you open up the IRA, and now you can put money in monthly as little as $25 a month. But I would say if you can, try to put at least, if you could, $100 a month. I know that's asking a lot for some, but if you have that already in your budget, as you start to make more money, take that extra money, half in it, and put some into the IRA, and then have some to go to your regular savings and some to go for your regular everyday expenses as you start to move up in the money that you make. Now, the IRA, that's a traditional. It's called an individual retirement account. If you're young and you're just starting out, you're in your late teens, early 20s, your 30s, even your 40s, I would say don't do the IRA. Do the Roth IRA. Now, with the Roth IRA, you won't get to do a tax deduction come income tax time, but guess what? This Roth IRA does the same thing as the Roth 401k plan, which you get to take that money out at 59 and a half tax free. Now, let me show you something else about that. Any money that you put into the Roth IRA, any of the money that you put in there, you can take out with no penalty. Now, I would tell you, don't take this money out, but it would be wrong for me to tell you that there's no way that you can't take this money out without a penalty. You could take that money out. So let's say you put in $5,000 in your Roth IRA, and now with compounded interest and everything, your Roth is now worth $15,000. At any time, you can go in, you can take that $5,000 out, and the government won't say anything to you. You won't get taxed on it, you won't get penalized on it, or anything. You just can't touch that extra $10,000 that you made in interest over the years. Okay, so that is another benefit of the Roth IRA. You're not locked in with any of the money that you put in there, like with an IRA. If you put money in an IRA, if you take it out early, you're going to pay a penalty on that money, and you're going to have to pay the taxes on that money that you pulled out. That's why the Roth is so powerful and such a great financial tool. So I would say if it's me and I'm going to fund my own account, fund the Roth IRA. People don't understand how these things work. A lot of people say, I'm not throwing my money away in this. Let me let you understand how that works. Let's say if you do an investment, let's go back here with your 401k. Either your 401k, your Roth, your IRA, or your Roth IRA. If you're putting $5,000 a year in investments, right, and you're getting return over of 8% over 30 years, and that's pretty conservative to say 8 months, because right now I think the market's been having a return of 10 or 11% before this stock market went down now. And like I said, even with it going down now, I do believe that it's going to turn back around. When, I don't know when. I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not a fortune teller. But the stock market has always found a way to recover. Over time, at 8% return over 30 years, because here's what, sometimes you're going to get a 20% return in the market, and sometimes you're going to have a 5% down in the market. But it's going to average out 8% over 30 years, being conservative. Now, if that happens, $5,000 invested over 30 years at an 8% return, do you know how much money you'll have off of that? The total balance will be over $600,000. Yeah, you heard me right. $600,000. Now, if that's in a 401k or an IRA, when you turn 59 and a half, you have to pay taxes on the money when you take it out. So, if you're 20 years old now, if let's say you're 29 years old now, 29, 39, 49, 59 years old. So at 29 years old, if you're putting $5,000 away per year and you're doing this for 30 years, you're going to be sitting on $600,000. If you got that in a Roth 401k or a Roth IRA, you can take that money out however you want. Now, I advise you don't take it all out at once because you're going to run out of money. But when you do take that money out, it is tax-free from these two guys. That's where you want to go. That's money right there. But these guys right here, you still are going to have a nice nest egg that if you play it right, you can still pay minimum taxes on that. Now that we have these guys done in investing, here's the other part of investing that people don't understand, and that is Social Security is one. And a lot of people say Social Security is not going to be it. Yes, it is. Now, it might not be in the form that we have now, but Social Security has changed throughout the years. When I was a kid, people could get Social Security at age 65, and their Social Security wasn't taxed. When Ronald Reagan became president, guess what? He went in and enacted a tax on Social Security. Well, he didn't do it. He had the Congress to create a bill to tax Social Security, and now your Social Security is taxed up to 85% if you make over a certain amount of money per year. And most of us make over that certain amount. I think with a family of four, it's like $40,000. If you make over $40,000, they're going to tax your Social Security. Well, just about everybody's doing that. So just about everybody's getting taxed. And if you're making under $40,000, you're in poverty. They're not going to be taxing you, and you shouldn't be getting taxed. So Social Security provides part of your investment portfolio, or it should, because you want to think like this. At age 59 and a half, I can now get to my 401k, Roth, whichever one of these you're going to be using. Also, at 62, or at the earliest, I can get my Social Security. That's another part of feature of my financial plan. Now, if you don't have to get it out at 62 and you want to wait till 65, fine. You get your max out at 60. Well, that changed. Like I said, when I was growing up, when I was a kid, people retired can get their Social Security full amount at 65. Around in the 80s, they changed that. So people in my age group now can get full retirement at age 67. So that's 2 years longer than people that was born in the 50s can get theirs. And I have no doubt in my mind that in the years to come, they're going to change that and probably move that age up or do something to change it, because we have to do something with Social Security. The way it's sitting, they're going to have to make changes. So Social Security should be a part of your investments for the long run, because you're going to be having that, like I said, at a minimum of 62. By the time you turn 70, you have to take Social Security. So between 62 and 70, you'll decide when you're going to take your Social Security. Now, another thing that if you have this, you have what I call the golden egg that the goose has laid for you, and that is a pension. If you have a pension, folks, let me explain something to you. If you have to be at your job a number of years to be vested in your pension, and you're close to that being vested, do not leave your job until you become vested, because that pension, folks, is a powerful tool. And I say that because I have a pension. The pension pays me every month for the rest of my life a certain amount of money that doesn't go down. Now, I get to use that pension as part of my investment portfolio. That doesn't, so in times when the market is going down, my pension can hold me up while the market is going down, so I'm not forced to take money out of the stock market when it is in a down time. Now, me, I'm not Social Security time yet, but when I'm able to hit Social Security, now I have two streams of income. I'll have my pension and my Social Security, as well as having my IRA and my Roth IRA to also draw from. So now I've gotten three streams of income that is coming in, and if I want a side hustle, that'll give me even more of a stream of income. So you see how these become a powerful tool? You see how investing is a powerful tool, and that's totally different than savings. Because in my savings account, guess what? I have, or I had, the 3 to 6 months living expenses. Now, I no longer have the 3 to 6 months living expenses. You know why? Because I have a guaranteed pension right now coming in, and I have investments, and at 62, I'm going to have Social Security. Because this is coming every month, I don't fear losing a job, losing employment. So that emergency fund has changed from 3 to 6 months of living expenses to medical emergency. Okay? So I have a certain amount that if there's an emergency that I have to go in for something, and anything that my insurance doesn't cover, like you have that total out of pocket cost, I make sure that I have an emergency fund that has the total out of pocket cost for my medical bills. And if that year I don't have anything in my medical bills, I just roll it over. If I do, anything I take out, I replenish it by putting money in till I get it back up to that level again. So you see how that pension is powerful, and the Social Security is also powerful for you. Now, I haven't gotten the Social Security age yet. I'm still waiting on it. But I am funding myself right now with a money from a money market that when I turn 59 and a half, this will be depleted, and now I'll go in and start using money from my IRA and my Roth IRA now to fund myself for the rest of my life, along with my pension, and then my Social Security will kick in. This is what you're trying to do, people. And if you don't have a pension, guess what? You can create an annuity from some of these investments that will give you a pension-like monthly income that you don't have to worry about going up or going down. But that's a totally different subject to talk on. But anytime that you don't understand this, what I would tell you to do is, if you don't understand this or you can't get this, go to a financial advisor. Get a financial advisor that is fee-based, not commission-based, because that way you pay them based on the information that they give you and what you pay them to get. You ain't got to worry about them going in and making commissions over and over and getting you in the market, out the market, and stuff like that. So this is about your savings and investing. Now, here are the things that people want to talk about all the time that I would say right now, while you're just starting out, don't do these. Now, these are the things you're going to get into later, but not now. Because every time I talk to somebody about investing, they always want to talk about stocks. And they always want to talk about real estate. Right now, in your journey, if you're just starting out, right now, individual stocks, leave them alone. You're not there yet. Not to say you're never going to get there. You will, but for right now, you don't need to be in individual stocks. They are too volatile. That's why the 401ks and the Roth IRAs that your company offer you, they offer you mutual funds. In your IRA or your Roth IRA, I will tell you to pick mutual funds or ETFs, electronically traded funds. The funds you want to be dealing with instead of the stocks, you want to deal with the Dow, the S&P 500, and the Nasdaq. These are ETF funds that follow these different markets that have historically had over the years returns of 8 to 10%. Don't go in trying to pick individual stocks thinking, oh yeah, this is going to go up 20%. Some of them do. Some of them go up 100%. But some of them also go down to zero and leave you with nothing. Leave that to the pros that are dealing with these mutual funds or the ETFs that are set up by the Fidelities and the Charles Schwabs and the T. Rowe Prices. Right now, you don't need to be dealing with real estate. Not to say you'll never deal with real estate. My son deals with real estate. I don't do real estate. I don't understand real estate. I'm not trying to get into real estate. I know my lane. And my lane is investing. However, right now, because you're just starting out, you're just trying to figure this stuff out. If you don't understand it, wait until you learn these things, and then later on, learn about the real estate. Forex. Forex is foreign exchange where you're looking at betting if the dollar's going to be higher than the euro, or if the Canadian dollar is going to be bigger than the U.S. or Australia. That kind of stuff. I'm not going to talk about it. You don't need to deal with it. Neither do you need to deal with futures. These are things that can cause you to go broke really quick if you don't know what you're doing. And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know anything about Forex, and I don't know about futures. I know about real estate enough to know I don't want to deal with it. I do deal with stocks, but that's because I've been in this thing a long time, and I've been investing for a number of years, so I feel comfortable in what I'm doing. So I hope I've given you guys a basic understanding of savings and investing and what you need to do with either of those. If you like this episode, give me a thumbs up. I hope you guys subscribe. I'm trying to get my subscribership up. And also leave me a comment if you don't understand or you want to know something more on what I was talking in this one. So, like I've always said before, if you want to get started in savings and you want to get into investing, folks, ain't nothing to it but to do it.